Okay, we are actually now we are live.
Really? How
I
cool is
know
that?
it is a shock. Now let me bring up. We don't have the chat here for some
Yeah, that seems to
weird
be an ongoing sort
reason.
of issue, so to speak.
Let me get into the control panel.
Well, if such is the case, if there's a movie that we don't get to on this list, Dave's list and my list, um, please put it in the
Yeah.
comments because, um, dude, we're geeks from way back, as you can see, and we love movies, so bring it on.
Yes, we do. We have been out there for a while, and we are now officially live. And now
Ooh.
I have the.
Well, Dave, it's good to see you.
Okay, sorry about that. I was just having some issues when I brought up the YouTube site. We do have chat out there. I'm going to say hi to all.
Hmm.
Welcome.
Well,
Sorry.
that's
Okay.
cool.
Hi, we are live, and
True.
I am Eagle Fan.
And I am Evil Chicken. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Today we are going to do our top 10 movie moments. Now, it's going to be a little bit different than some of the other top 10 lists you might see out there. We're not doing one combined top 10. We each have our own top 10. Let's see how many of the movies that we have maybe appear on both, maybe even different moments from the movie appear on both. I will admit some of these movies that I have multiple moments. So I may pick one, but actually talk about the others as well, and we'll both see where we end up at the end of the night. We have some honorable mentions to kind of go over, things that didn't make either of our lists,
Oof.
and I am going to try to invite my daughter to come join us to go over a couple of movies that she has listed. We will get to her a little bit later tonight, and we'll see where we go from there. So, with that, how is everybody? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day.
Indeed. Yeah, everybody's doing pretty good here, I think. How about there? At Rancho del the Eagle fan.
We have been doing okay. I've It's been raining today, so started out with a little bit of a headache. I Everything's weird. I'm sitting here looking at this, trying to adjust my shirt, and everything is backwards in on the screen. So everything's been okay. A little bit of a headache. I'm doing okay now. I didn't get to get outside as much as I wanted because of the rain. So how are things for
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Although I got to tell you, it's the same sort of thing here at Rancho del Evil Chicken. Um, Mother Hen, Lynn, she gets the same way you do. She gets affected by the barometric pressure, and for the last 4 days, it's been pretty nasty. A little bit rainy, and it's been affecting her as well. But apart from that, everybody's safe, healthy, hunkered down, and there we are.
that? That is awesome. So what is your drink of choice tonight?
Oh, it's ginger ale and a double shot of whiskey. What are
Okay.
you working on there?
I'm back at the Goldschlager. Have maybe a familiar looking glass that you may have seen from the past.
Oh my
It
gosh. Okay. This.
haven't decided if it's sacrilege to be drinking out of that or not.
Hey, you know what? Living is sacrilegious. Bring on the sacrilege. So lo and behold, little bit of history about that glass. Um, two young men that I know of, who might be a little older now, we participated in a prom-ish like activity at Cumberland Christian School, and God bless. Thank you. I'm not throwing stones or anything. But what I absolutely adored is nobody knew that the souvenir that they handed out was a whiskey glass. Dave, could you show that again? Yeah,
It is
there it is.
right here.
There
I
it is.
will go to the close up view here as well.
It was a sad day. Not 4 months ago that my glass perished.
They weren't used back then for this.
Here's to the future.
Okay, so how does this? We'll take this approach where we will each start out. How would you like to start the? I'll start the even numbers. You can start the odd numbers. How does that sound?
Wow, if I only made a list like that, it'd be great. No, I'm just kidding. Sure,
Okay.
let's
Okay.
do that. I
Well,
like that. So you wanted
so
to
we
go
will
from
start
top
out.
10 down?
We'll go from 10 up to 1. So
Bring
it'll
it,
be a
baby.
countdown from number. So looking at my list, my my official list right here on my little notebook here, I am going with one of my favorite movies of all time.
Intrigued.
It was an action movie from back in the 80s
Yes.
with a star who wasn't your typical action movie star. He wasn't your Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Right.
Sylvester Stallone.
Ooh,
He was your average kind of guy,
I'm kind of
just
digging
put
it.
in a wrong situation.
Oh, I think I
All
know.
I can say is yippee ki
Mother.
Exactly.
Nice.
Die
Nice.
Hard. And actually, that very moment when he's saying that over the mic, that has stuck with me since that movie. That and also the now I have a machine gun. Ho ho
Oh,
ho.
God, yeah. Let me ask you, Dave, is it a Christmas movie?
I think it's a Christmas movie. Why not?
Oh, hell yeah.
That
I agree. I agree, man. I agree.
was
What a
that Run
great
DMC
choice.
Christmas song playing in the
Yeah, I think it
in the
was.
limo, I believe.
Hell
It
yeah.
was December 24th.
Yes, indeed. What a great choice, Dave. Holy cow.
Thank
Talk
you.
about hits you right in the nostalgia, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Let's
Yeah.
not talk about how long ago that was, though.
Far be it from me. Good
So,
choice. Oh my
thank you.
gosh.
So
Uh,
what do you have?
well, okay. Let me go with my number 9 pick
You don't have your
for all
number
you
10?
cool cats and kittens at home.
Oh, you don't have your number 10 pick?
Oh, all right. Let's go with that one. Forgive me, new math. Okay. There's this film that was far ahead of its time, and it still is. And I'm going to just say it. Big Trouble in Little China, baby. This John Carpenter was firing on all cylinders. This was, I think, his fourth picture with Kurt Russell, and there's stuff in there that blows the mind of American cinema, but it's been going on in other countries forever. You think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with the sword fights and everything? That was far after Big Trouble in Little China, and he has it happening there. Big one. Loved it. Let me see here. I took some notes. Jack Burton, Kurt Russell of all people. You think he's the hero going in? Spoilers. No, he is not. He's just a guy who was a blowhard American who just goes ahead and does his thing. He accidentally saves the day, and I think that makes him even more charming. Just a great movie from soup to nuts. You want escapism, baby? Put in Big Trouble in Little China.
I
The
will be
ball
honest,
is in
that
your
did not
court.
make my list. I did not know of that movie. I'm sorry, I knew of that movie. I just hadn't watched. I've actually never seen that movie, so I'm going out and,
Oh,
and
no
admitting
problem,
that right now.
brother man. Here's what I
Anyone seeing this is probably yelling at their screen right now, saying, "Get this idiot off of the."
probably. But this is,
So
make your own list and give it to us. We'd like to watch more movies.
exactly,
Put it
exactly.
down here,
Debate about it.
right
Debate
here,
about it
baby.
in the comments. Let Click this little like and subscribe over here. Join us for more, and we will see you again multiple times. I believe there's something that comes after 10 when we're counting the other direction. What movie would that be?
Dave, you're
That
the
would
man.
be
I am. I just went. Oh, because it's odd. I see. You see, I can be taught. Okay, you are too good to me. I'm just saying. I love you, Dave. Thank you. So here we go. Number 9. This movie scared the hell out of me as a kid. Um, Maybe because I wasn't allowed to watch it, even when it came to television. Um, Planet of the Apes. Why? Let me go into details. Um, the line, "Get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape." I love that. You take a look at the social and religious commentary of this film, brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And of course, you have that ending. It's uh, humbling, to say the least. It's a timeless piece of cinema. Just saying.
I'll be honest with you, I debated about putting that on my list. I never really liked the movie itself.
Oh, dude, I
I
got you.
don't know what it is. I could just never get into the movie. But that moment with seeing the statue on the beach is that is an epic moment. So
Iconic.
I'm actually a little upset with myself that I didn't include that. But
No, baby. Hey, it's all good.
spoiler alert, it's not on my list.
No, that's okay. It's on mine. We'll watch together. It's okay.
Okay, I guess that kicks back to my number
I
9.
would say that the ball is
My,
officially in your court, sir.
and bear with me as I'm looking through my list because I did cross numbers out multiple times here, so I'm trying to make sure I'm getting the right version of number 9, and I do have it here. My number 9
Yes.
is one of those movies that if it is on, I will not turn it off. It is it's a football movie. Remember the Titans. Movie about a football team in the South who was now bringing in black players to join the rest of the team and had a black coach brought in. And it's a true story, had a lot of racial tension in there. Two moments kind of stood out. There was a moment where the old white coach was basically told, play ball with us and we will get you back to your job.
Right.
And the referees were pretty much screwing over his team to make them lose so that they would get the black head coach fired. And at one point, he just stops it, calls out the refs, and says, I don't care. And then goes to his team and basically tells his team, if they gain one more yard this entire game, you're all running for the next week. And it was like, that was a good moment. And
Was that
the other
Denzel?
moment, yeah, he was in there. Yes, yeah, he was the coach. The
Amazing.
other moment that gets you is there's basically a star player who then gets in an automobile accident and is paralyzed. So it's actually a story being told from the future by the daughter as she's at the cemetery discussing the life of the guy who he was
Wow.
paralyzed. He joined the Paralympics, did had all sorts of other health issues, and then passed away. So it was basically kind of a story. You don't realize all of that. Like at the
Right.
beginning, you kind of see a little bit of a story going on, but you don't really realize that until at the end when it cuts and they're all there at the funeral.
Wow.
So I just thought it was a really good movie. It's really well put together, and it's kind of an important topic as well.
Excellent choice, man. Excellent choice.
Thank you.
At least I could do.
A-
Is it
And
still in
your
your
number?
court? My what?
And
Which one?
now, oh wait, I'm sorry. Oh man, I am messing up here on that. We both did our number 9s already. So now we go to a number 8.
Oh my.
Feeling there's a chance this could be on your list somewhere.
I'm intrigued.
There is a chance. Now, I'm not sure, but there's a chance. This is The Dark Knight.
Oh,
And
wow.
there are actually two moments that come to mind.
Oh yes, please.
One is Heath Ledger may be the best Joker. Jack Nicholson and him both both there for their own reasons.
True.
Slightly different portrayal, but both very good portrayals. But
Agreed.
Heath Ledger just really had that crazy part going on. Just the simple little line of why so serious.
Oh my God.
That is a movie classic. The other part that I actually like, and apparently was not a scripted moment, was when he's walking out of, I believe it was the hospital, walking down the street
Dressed as the nurse.
and and goes to hit the button to cause the explosion, and it doesn't happen. And then he starts kind of just messing with it and hitting it, and you see him all frustrated, and then eventually it blows up. Well,
Yes.
apparently that was not a planned event. You probably know that.
I've heard that, yes. But what an
Yeah,
amazing piece of cinema.
yeah. That was just good, just because he just kind of stayed in
Oh,
character and
yeah.
went with it, and
And it paid
apparently there
off.
was, yeah,
And it paid off.
he was expecting to shoot the scene again, and they were like, "No, we're keeping that."
Dave, I got to tell you, I have to agree with you to date, including the amazing performance of Joaquin Phoenix. Heath Ledger was the Joker. But of course,
May
Jose
he rest in
Ferrer,
peace.
I think, was also good in Batman, the original series in '66. However, when it comes to the movies, Heath Ledger was the Joker.
And to remind people, since I forgot to show them this ahead of time, we are on number 8.
Oh, oh, no worries, no worries. Well, if we're on number 8, let me talk about a little movie. Is it my turn, Dave? I don't want.
Yes, it
Far be
is,
it for
sir.
me to. Okay. There's a film called The Shawshank Redemption.
I will
You.
admit this is going to show up on my list as well.
This is. Oh, by the way, Dark Knight doesn't show up on mine, so I'm glad you mentioned it. But Shawshank does. Shawshank Redemption is based on a novella from Stephen King. And a lot of people pigeonhole Stephen King into, oh, he's that horror guy. And yes, I can definitely say he is. But he's also the guy who wrote Shawshank Redemption. He's also the guy who wrote Gerald's Game. He's the guy who wrote just just let's just say he's an American treasure and leave it at that. He is still prolific. I think he's in his late 70s, early 80s, and he's still writing and prolifically, and he's still a viable voice. And anyway, getting back to Shawshank Redemption. Um, Favorite moment? Red, when he's released from prison. And he goes and he gets that cache of money that he finds. And then he goes and takes that bus to Mexico. And he runs into Andy on the beach cleaning that boat. And it still gives me chills and chokes me up to this moment. Absolutely beautiful piece of cinema. The Shawshank Redemption.
That is one of the things I was going to mention when I got to that movie. I do have another part that, since you haven't brought up, I will bring that up when we get to that on my list, if
I'm
that's okay.
intrigued. I'm intrigued. All right, Dave, ball's in your court, baby.
Okay, so well that was number 8. We are
True.
now at, let's see, what's after 8? We are at
Wait, me? Oh, well, cue the trumpets. If adventure had a name, it would have to be Indiana Jones. And I would have to say Raiders of the Lost Ark. Pound for pound, much like another one of the movies on my list, um, for me, is a perfect film. Um, the first Raiders. Everything else are sequels, and they're fun and all this stuff, but there'll never be another Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, Favorite moments? At the beginning. It sets the tone for the entire film. Going into that Peruvian temple. The guy cocks his gun, gonna steal it from him. Oh no! Oh, what, bitches? Lo and behold, he's got a bullwhip. the consequence of moving towards the temple and being that Tomb Raider kind of person, um, walking that line between the guy who's stealing these antiquities and the guy who is trying to save them because it belongs in a damn museum. Um, Absolutely adored Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's me. How about you, Dave?
I must confess, for that movie, I did have it on a list. It did not make my top 10. I
That's
will
fair.
discuss a little bit of that when we get to the honorable mentions.
I am intrigued. Color me intrigued, my friend.
So for my number 7,
Yes, what you got, baby?
I will go with the moment, and I believe you're going to know this movie. In all this commotion, I kind of forget if I shot 5 shots or 6. So you just got to ask yourself one little question. Do you feel lucky? Or
Well,
do you punk? Dirty Harry.
oh, Dirty Harry Callahan. Yeah, baby.
That is a movie moment that just stands out to me. Uh, had to end up on the list.
Oh, Dave,
So
I struggled with the idea of putting Dirty Harry on the list. I really did. And I came this close. What a great series of the films. It was just great escapist entertainment. If you wanted to feel, um, I don't know, a little bit better about the world, the idea that hey, look, there's somebody kicking some ass. Let's put that in. Let's go rent that on VHS. Excellent choice. I'm gonna drink to that one.
okay, next up we go to, let's see, that was number
7.
7. So let's see. After number 7, I'm sorry, I'm not that insanely stupid. People are out there saying, "Well, come on, it's 7. You ought to know 6 is next." I was just looking for it on my list,
Hey,
and
baby,
I
I hear
found
you.
it.
These
So
lists are
next
crazy.
up is number 6.
It's
In
not me,
number
is it?
6, no, no, that'll be me first.
Oh, good, good,
Sorry,
good.
I was just putting up the graphic for the number 6.
Oh my, have at it, baby.
So next up is something that I guarantee you is on your list. And you're probably going to be mad that I have it only at number 6 and not higher. And
Go
it might
ahead.
even be, it's probably the same exact movie. You killed my father.
Oh,
No, I am your father. I include it as Star Wars. It's obviously not the original Star Wars that they say that one in,
no, that's
but
episode 5. The Empire
no,
Strikes Back.
that's episode 2. I,
Wait, what?
I refuse to admit those other 3. That's episode 2.
Oh, that's funny.
So that is my number 6. I
That's
will
a damn
uh,
fine choice. Um,
pass things along to you.
well, since that's your number 6, I'm going to make my number 6 uh, Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. Um, Star Wars changed everything. I don't say that lightly. I don't say that lightly in the least. It influenced a generation of filmmakers, of people who wanted to tell stories, and damn it, I was one of them. As it turns out, Luke Skywalker, for me, one of the most poignant scenes in Star Wars Episode 4 is when it's twilight and the symphony is playing and he steps outside of the moisture farm just to take a look at the sunset, the dual sunsets on Tatooine setting in the distance, and he's looking out there, and at that moment Mark Hamill slash Luke Skywalker is every kid in the theater. Don't know what the future's going to be, but damn it, there it is. And it just blew my Padawan mind. Loved it. There you go. Oh my.
And since we went to five, five is in your court to start with, sir.
Oh my. Well, excuse me. Well, if that's the case, excuse me, dinner was delicious, by the way. Sorry about that.
What?
I'm a little gassy.
No, what'd you have
Okay.
for dinner?
We, well, I got, as Wilford Brimley says, the diabetes. But tonight I had pizza. Phenomenal. You
Okay.
know, pizza is pretty damn awesome. Can we be honest?
I
Anyway.
made some angel hair pasta tonight and some
Oh
breadsticks.
my.
So
Very nice. Very nice. That sounds good.
we were both loading on the carbs.
Yes. Yeah, I'm training. Okay, so it's my turn, you say, and this is number 5?
Yes.
Oh my. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to go to a. You know what? Let's just go right to it. Let's talk about Blade Runner. Blade Runner is like one of those films, at least for me, that has you can watch it a dozen times, and you're going to see something new, something different every time. The first time I saw it, um, well, actually, there's also it was strange the sort of circumstances. My father and I went to the Landis Theater to see it in 1982, and the electricity died, and we couldn't see it. So he got sick and he passed away, and never got a chance to see it. Fortunately, through video, I did. Um, and I've seen and I own every scrap of footage from all the editions. What I love about Blade Runner is that it always asks the question, what is life? Um, and Roy Batty, who is a replicant, and he only has a lifespan of 4 years. 4 years. And he's trying to get more years, but he can't. Unfortunately, none of us can. And his speech at the end of Blade Runner, the Tears in the Rain speech, just floors me every time I see it, because really and truly, the good guy, Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford running around, he's not that good a guy. The replicants, they're really not that good a guys either, but they only want their freedom. And by the end, there's the question of if Rick himself isn't a replicant. So it stands the test of time, and it also makes you think. And I adore that in a film. And look, you know what? Any movie with flying cars, I'm basically in. So there we go. Dave, your turn.
I have to admit, I never saw that movie.
It's okay. It's okay.
Although I have heard the online debates going on whether or not that guy was a replicant, which I
You
guess was
know,
Harrison Ford's character.
yes, it's funny you mention that. One of the things I adored about Denis Villeneuve's version of 2069, Blade Runner 2069, the sequel, they still don't answer that question. They still leave it up to you, the viewer. And brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I digress. What do you got, Dave?
Very
I'm
cool.
curious.
Okay. I'm going to do one little thing when I switch the camera here, so bear with me just a moment. We may
Sure.
have been having some audio issue there, so they might not hear you for a moment. I'm going to switch the camera. or switch the scene, actually, is what I just did for anybody that's watching here. I do apologize. Like I said, okay, I think we got that fixed. Had an issue where I don't know that your mic was coming up when I had just my scene on, as well as it should have. So I think it should be corrected now. Like I've said before, this is all learning experience as we go. My number five is a movie that you've mentioned already. So we go back to the scene with both of us here, so we can both be seen.
I'm intrigued.
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah. What a
Now
great.
you already mentioned one of the scenes that I loved was him walking down the beach to him. Great scene, great moment.
Chokes me up.
I also liked the escape scene with him
Oh
out there in the rain. Just, I made it.
yes.
And then everything that followed with basically the warden getting his just dues.
Oh, it was beautiful.
That is also one of those movies that once it is on, I am what if I'm flipping the channel and I'm like, oh, that's on.
Click, 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 click.
It could be midnight and I will be there watching it until 1:30 in the morning because it's just on. There's a handful of movies that match that, and that is one of those.
Oh yeah, brother.
So we won't spend as much time on that because we've already discussed the one scene in rather thoroughly there. So now we will go to, let's see, after five comes, and we might not have audio for a moment here, number four. So I am up next for number four,
Okay.
and I
I'm
am
intrigued.
going with a horror movie
Ooh,
from the past,
I'm intrigued.
and just one scene in general that everyone is going to know. It's a little girl sitting in front of a TV filled with static and two little words. They're here. Poltergeist.
Beautiful. What a great
That,
choice, Dave. What
thank
a
you, sir.
great choice. Tobe Hooper, but probably mostly Steven Spielberg. just
Yes.
just in a what a oh dude, that hit me right in the creeps when we were kids. What a great film. You didn't move the bodies.
That
Oh, what a
that was a
great choice.
great film, and that one little scene right there
Oh my god, yeah.
was quite
It's
amazing.
like, what did creepy little girl say?
And she wasn't even really super creepy little girl. She was just being
Yeah,
creepy at that moment.
exactly.
It's not like she was creepy the entire time up until then.
No, no, she's just a kid. Oh yeah, and
She,
that friggin' clown in the tree coming through in the swimming pool. What?
she,
Oh, the guy with the chicken and he's
she was
picking
just a
his
pawn.
face. What a great choice, Dave.
she,
Oh,
she was just a pawn in the story there.
yeah, yeah. She was the MacGuffin to get them to go into the spirit realm. Oh, good stuff.
So that would go to your court now. The ball is in your court.
And what number are we at, Dave?
We are at number four.
Oh, Lord. I am so. Oh, this is. It's so tough. It's tough, Dave. There are so many great films, and oh, here we go. Number four. What is best in life? Let's talk about Conan the Barbarian. Alex, let me just humbly repeat, if you will. I took the time to actually print this. This won't take long, I promise. Crom's prayer. I'm sorry, Conan's prayer to Crom when he's about to make a stand against the people who destroyed his family. He says, Crom, I have never prayed to you before. I have no tongue for it. No one, not even you, will remember if we were good men or bad. Why we fought, why we died. All that matters is that today, two stood against many. Valor pleases you, so grant me this one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, the hell with you. I should have done that in his voice. Sorry, his accent. Then to hell with you. What a great, what a great moment. I was like, it was like heavy metal, man. I was like, yeah, bring it on. And
I I have not. I don't think I've seen that actually.
Dave, dude, we've got to see some movies. I'll show you
Okay,
yours if you show me mine. Wait, I'll show.
that'll be another website.
Oh, never mind. Did I say that right?
There might be cash in it though.
Well, with these
Okay,
rolling furloughs, who's to say?
we, we have made it all the way down to number 4.
Oh my goodness!
We have 3 left from each of our lists.
Bring it!
I'm going to invite Kayla in now.
Yes,
So when we will do Kayla's pick.
Kay. Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
It's great to see you, Kay.
Will they be able to hear me?
You'll be able to hear.
Okay.
They can hear you now,
No, you won't.
but you'll be able to hear Kay or George.
Yeah, he's not.
Or K George, as the case may be.
Okay. I can't hear you at the moment, George, but she can.
Kay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. This is awesome. I am so thankful that you're here. Thank you. I can't wait to hear what your number 4 position is. What do you got?
Well, I'll start out with this one from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I'm familiar with it, but no, I have not seen it.
It's a good one. There's this one scene though. It's so funny. Basically, his ex-girlfriend comes to the door and knocks, and his roommate gets it. And he opens the door wide enough so you can see that Scott's in the background. And she's like, "Is Scott here?" And he goes, "No." And then he dives face first out the side window. And she goes, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yep, haven't seen him." And he reaches back in and grabs his jacket. And then at the end of the scene, he's like running behind her, and she's just like, "What?" It's really funny.
I will admit, she showed me that. She showed me a video clip of that. It actually is pretty funny because she's pretty much clueless there. Even though you can clearly see the guy jump out the window, reach back in, grab his own jacket, and then run behind her as the friend is telling her, "Nope, I haven't seen him. I don't know when he's going to be here."
What an amazing
I admit it was a funny scene.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I still have to see it, but Kay, I have to commend you. It's got an amazing cast. I mean, you've got future Captain America, who is one of the ex-boyfriends. I mean, and what was the name of the guy who played? He played Lex Luthor in that horrible Superman versus Batman movie.
I don't know. I didn't end up watching it because of the bad reviews for Superman versus Batman.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. I take that back, people who are DC fans, because I mean, it's not fair. There were some good ideas, and I think it was troubled by a lot of issues behind the scenes. But you know what? I'm not talking about that. It didn't make either of our lists, I'm pretty sure. But Scott Pilgrim versus the World, brilliant stuff. At least it looks brilliant. I know it's a brilliant comic. But good choice. I still have to see it, though. I have to be honest. But
yeah, you should. It's on Netflix. I don't know if you have Netflix.
Oh, is it? Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's excellent. What a great choice.
Did you want me to do my other one?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more.
Ooh, hit me.
I thought of another one, but I'll do just
You can
one.
do both of them if you want.
Yeah, feel free.
From Wolf of Wall Street. I love that movie.
Oh my god.
Wild. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
It's really long. Me and my friend have watched it multiple times.
Oh my gosh. I please forgive me. Again, I'm ignorant. I do know that Leo, he won an Oscar for that, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't know if it was for that one. It might have been for that one.
Oh no, wait,
that
that
might
might
have
have
been because
been
he got that after Wolf of Wall Street was filmed.
It might
He
have been
should have.
Revenant.
That was really
got
good.
that for.
I think it was Revenant. Yeah.
From what
I
I
love Leo.
understand, oh God, he's amazing. He's a great actor. He really is. He really is. I don't know if you ever saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape, but
I've seen clips from it, but I haven't gone
oh
to see
my
the whole thing.
God,
But I know he does really well.
it's amazing. Johnny Depp plays his brother, and he
Mhm.
plays somebody who has intellectual disability in the movie itself, and it is brilliant. He is he's one of the best. I'm going to say right now in America for American cinema. There you go. I
Yeah, I
said.
love him.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
I got my friend's favorite scene, and then I'm going to talk about my favorite scene. But I mean,
Sure.
I kind of think her favorite scene's a really good scene too. Basically, Jordan, who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Donnie, who's played by Jonah Hill, they were
Oh,
at
Jonah Hill.
they were at Leo's house, and they did a lot of quaaludes,
Okay.
drugs. Did a lot
Yes.
of those. And
Don't do drugs, kid. Okay.
then Jordan found out that his phones were tapped, and Donnie was on the phones. So he's yelling at him to get off the phone in their really high, like slowed down state. And they're fighting over the phone. And then afterwards, Donnie takes a bite of a ham sandwich and starts choking and
This
falls
is
through a glass table. It's
this is a
really
true
funny.
story too. From what I understand,
Yeah,
this is a true story. Oh my gosh.
it's so crazy. That's a true story. But and then my favorite scene was more. It wasn't like it was funny, but just the acting in it was really good. It
Right.
was when Leonardo DiCaprio and Margot Robbie, their characters are married, and they get into like an argument in the morning,
Okay.
and like it's really good. Like she like throws a glass of water on him, and he wakes up, and like they did really good acting in that scene. Like it's such an iconic like argument scene.
You know what? Margot Robbie has really surprised me. She's a phenomenal actor. She really is. And
I love Margot Robbie.
God, yeah. I mean, she's what are you gonna do? She's
I
just
keep
great at what she does.
I keep meaning to watch I Tanya because I hear she does really good work in that
Oh,
one,
it's
but I haven't
creepy
been
how
able
good
to.
she is. And oh my gosh, what was that Bombshells? I think she was in about the whole Fox News thing, and
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
really
And then
good work. Really
I
good
haven't
work.
seen the new Harley Quinn movie, but she plays Harley Quinn. I feel like she does that role pretty well. I wanted to see the new one because it's about like the women characters more,
Yes,
and I thought that was
that's
cool.
what I
But
hear too. I mean, it kills me. Suicide Squad was such a horrible movie, but her performance, excellent. Which underlines the fact that you can have a completely horrible movie, but have some amazing performances in it. Um, yeah, she's just an amazing actor, and her talent is not going to be constrained just to Harley Quinn. And don't get me
yeah,
wrong, as you know, I'm a comic geek, so I
Mhm.
don't mind the idea of comic movies. But yeah, she's excellent. She's very good at what she does. I think you have
Yeah.
very good taste there. I think it's a good choice.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and then my last one. Uh, Actually, I'll switch it up. I was gonna say Tangled, the lantern scene, but there's not much to really talk about in Tangled. I just love
Yeah.
Tangled; it's my favorite.
It's all good.
But I love Heather's.
Oh
Have
my.
you seen Heather's?
I'm familiar with Heather's. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
For my intro to theater class, I did a
Yes.
monologue, but it was just I did the diary entries of Veronica from the movie,
What a great
and
choice for a monologue. That's
yeah,
great.
it was pretty fun. But some of the writing in it I thought was really like quirky and fun. I love the musical. I love the movie. I just Heather's is just really good.
I'm more
But yeah, I
familiar
like
with the
the
movie than
diary.
I am the musical. Slater, what's his name? Slater.
Christian Slater.
Thank you, Christian Slater. He's pretty damn good.
Yes.
And the rest of the cast is on point with that. Oofa!
Mm-hmm.
It's some crazy stuff happening, but good stuff
Yeah.
nonetheless. Good
Yeah.
choice.
So those are some of my favorite scenes.
Excellent scenes. Oh my gosh, phenomenal. Good stuff.
I'll give you back to my dad now. It was fun.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
This is fun. We should do this more often,
We should.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hope you like my scenes.
And a thank you to Kay.
Oh, absolutely. Dave, I love you, but you've been fired. She's next.
Oh. He fired me.
Oh, I didn't do that.
He likes you better here than me.
Nah. I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band.
After
Baby.
almost 40 years, this is how it ends.
Nah, Dave, I could never fire you.
I didn't do that.
How could you betray me like this?
See, we're writing cheesy dialogue. It's our calling.
Okay. We
Yeah,
are
what do you
up 2. And again, we're probably going to lose some. Sorry, I've got these stupid notifications popping up. We're up 2. After number 4 comes number 3.
Oh.
Number 3.
Shut the front door. Is it me?
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, let's talk about the dystopian future of the year 1997. The United States Police Force has taken over New York City as island. It's now a walled prison in the film Escape from New York. I love.
How did I know that was going to show up?
I
know there's another one coming too.
Dave, I know
but
that
I'm
you
not
do.
going to spoil that one.
I know that you do. That is so funny. Okay, let's put a pin in this one for a second. What Dave's talking about is Dave and I, we grew up together, and there was a certain VHS copy.
Here, let's not spoil your pick. We'll stay on this one.
Okay.
We'll let the viewers stay in suspense a little bit.
Dave, you're absolutely correct. Please forgive me. Okay, let's just stick with Escape from New York. Snake Plissken. Again, this is John Carpenter teamed with Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell, before this role, he was known primarily for Disney roles, roles in Disney films. And he wanted to distance himself from that, so he played Snake friggin' Plissken. And one of, for what it's worth, one of my all-time favorite anti-heroes is Snake Plissken. Just before he delivers the line for the first time, "Call me Snake," he tells Hawk, the guy who wants to send him into the prison to rescue the president's daughter. He says to Hawk, "I don't give a." He says, "I don't give an F about your war or your president." Hell yeah. Snake Plissken goes in, he does what he needs to do, and he comes out with the president. And unfortunately, nothing changes. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, Snakes is one badass mofo, and I highly recommend it. If you have never seen it, let me tell you. Oh, the baseball bat fight in Madison Square Garden? What? Are you kidding me? Anyway, I digress. Escape from New York, one of my favorites. Go see it. There.
That's a good pick. I will say I never really watched the entire movie I don't know why. I just never did.
It's all good. All good.
That's not the one that was always on when I was over there, which we will probably be discussing in the next couple picks. I'm guessing. Or it'll be an honorable mention. If not, I'm guessing. Okay. With my number 3, I'm going back a little ways.
Ooh.
I am going to Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh.
I'm going with a movie in which the villains, so to speak,
yes,
were not even human. The birds. Specifically, that ever ominous scene when the birds first arrive and you just see them showing up everywhere. It's one of those scenes that you'd initially look at and be like, oh, wonderful nature footage here. Look at all these birds. But it was just an omen of things to come.
Dave, what a great choice. What a great choice. Oh, oh my
Thank you,
God.
sir.
Oh my gosh. Antonio Bay. Oh, it's just a phenomenal piece of cinema. Hitchcock
I,
was
rem-
so good.
I remember seeing that as a kid, and it kind of creeped me out.
Hey, it kind of creeped me out too. Like when she's in the telephone booth and they're smashing against the walls.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
like
For
like
those of you that are watching that are like, what are they talking about with a telephone booth? That's actually something that existed when we were younger.
good point,
And
Dave.
this is why we don't have Superman right now. He's got nowhere to change.
It's a shame, really. We could really use him.
Yes.
Great
Yes, we
choice,
could.
Dave. Oh my gosh.
I thank you, sir. So that moves us up. We are getting really close to the end here. We are now up to number 2.
um,
Well, my actually, I'm up first on number 2 here.
bring it on.
This is a movie. It took me a while to get through just because of timing and when I could see it and whatnot. But there's one scene in there that really stands out.
Right.
Stands out as the best version in a movie of this scene of this particular event that I've ever seen, and it
Okay.
is a real live, an actual historical event. It is the storming of Normandy Beach on D-Day in the movie Saving Private Ryan.
Oh God. Yeah.
I know that ties back to the video game that I mentioned that
Yeah, it does.
had
It does.
similar types. Just that particular scene just seemed so hyper realistic,
Yeah.
and even though I don't know for certain, I was not there, but
No.
that's kind of the way I would imagine it to be. And I've heard people that were there. There were people that I heard that were there that couldn't even watch that scene because
Yeah.
it brought back too many memories. So
Um.
I will defer to people that know better than me to be able to say that yes, that was a very realistic scene.
Spielberg based that scene on honest accounting of what happened, and it's visceral, and it should be mandatory watching. Um, hard to see. Um, hard to see. Um, we owe a debt of gratitude to a lot of people, and the people who stormed those beaches are some of those people we owe a debt of gratitude to. Just
Yeah.
unbelievable,
Yes, sir.
unbelievable. Good choice, Dave. Oh God,
Thank you.
in that movie, another thing that sticks out in my mind: the one guy on the American side who he's trying to be, you know, he has the
I'm hearing
opportunity.
voices again.
Yeah, it happens. He has that opportunity to kill that one German soldier, but he doesn't. And that German soldier goes and kills like all sorts of members of his own band of brothers, so to speak. And but what an amazing film! Oh my God, good choice, Dave. Damn good choice.
Thank you, sir. And for you,
Well, mine goes from real carnage to well, supposed carnage. Um, Dave, you're going to know this one. Um, it happens to be
there's
that
cars
film.
involved, aren't there?
What was that?
There's cars involved, aren't there?
What? How did you know, Dave? Um, okay, let's talk about the Road Warrior for a moment. Um, I adore the Road Warrior. I think it surpasses. Actually a sequel. In America, it's called the Road Warrior. Everywhere else, it's just called Mad Max 2. Mad Max was great. It showed like this post-apocalyptic world where the cops are trying to hold things together, but they're not. And this one guy, Max Rockatansky, his family's destroyed and all this stuff. But the Road Warrior doesn't give you all that information. It just tells you that the world is gone as you know it, and that there are gangs out on the highways just looking for a tank of juice, to move forward. Max, he's no better than any of these
Just to correct
gangs.
that, he said juice, not Jews.
True.
It didn't become a
Juice.
Nazi film.
Please forgive me. Am I
It
not
wasn't a Nazi
enunciating
film.
correctly? Hold on. All right, that's better. So,
Sorry about that.
no, thank you. I appreciate the point of order. um, for a tank of gas or juice, as is said in the film. Um, Max, however, at the beginning of the film, he's no better than the gangs that are roving the streets, roving the roads and the highways of the future of this apocalypse. What the opening scene is that duel between a huge gang and Max, and he wins and he gets the gas. But what really turns things around is begin to realize after a while it's actually a Western. It's actually a Western. And Max, along the way, rediscovers his humanity. And he sort of becomes Shane, if you will, in this post apocalyptic Western. And it's, you know what? I've rambled on enough. It's a great movie. Go see it. 2 thumbs up.
Okay, so that actually gets us all the way through the first 9.
Oh, my.
So how about we jump into? You would think number 1 is coming up next, but no, we don't want to be that easy. Let's go to, and we're going to lose volume for a moment here, but we're going to go to the honorable mention. Let me bring up the graphic for just a moment so people know.
All right, that sounds cool. I like honorable mentions.
Okay.
This is so
much
tough.
like the honor rolls that we were always on.
Yes.
No.
Well, you were.
Not as much as you'd think. That the Bible class always got me.
Hey, look, man.
I'm sorry for admitting that right now.
Trust me, it's okay.
We'll just kind of go back and we'll just kind of go back and forth here if that's good with you. I don't know how many you've got, but
I've got quite a
few. Go from there.
Hit me, Dave. What do you got?
I'm going to start out with a very light film. It's a true 80s film, and I absolutely love the soundtrack to this movie. I have seen this movie a million times, and also one of those movies that I will always watch. I also have it on DVD as well, so I can pop it once in a while and throw it into the Xbox and play it.
Very cool. What is it?
It is The Lost Boys.
Oh, Dave, what a great choice. Great soundtrack, man.
Just that very end scene with the grandfather. The final battle has happened. He had crashed his car into the building.
Yep.
He walks past the family standing there and the mother standing there.
Yeah.
Without saying a word.
Right.
And you could see she's like, Dad, are you okay? He just walks over to the refrigerator, opens it, gets a drink out, pops it open, turns around and says, the one thing I could never stand about Santa Claus, all the damn vampires, and takes a drink. It's just the guy who seemed the most clueless throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
Was the most wise.
Oh, Dave, what a great choice. Oh, my gosh. How about when Kiefer Sutherland, he's talking about the city, beneath the city, after those earthquakes where their home base is. It's just a great film. I mean, well, is it dated? Sure. But it's from our time. And Just a great film, man. What a good choice.
Oh, who was the actress in that?
Oh my God. Oh damn it. Who was she?
I can't remember the name. Very, very, very nice as well.
Why, yes. Yes,
And
indeed.
speaking of that, there will be another one in the honorable mention here that I'm not sure why I didn't put in my tops, but similar kind of vein, and you'll see when we get to that.
I see.
What's your first honorable
Honorable
mention?
mention? Oh, good grief. In 1978, there was a movie that made me believe that a man could fly. Superman, the movie. When Superman, and okay, granted, this is going back a while, but when Superman reveals himself to the world and he saves not only Lois Lane, but all the people watching from the ground, and he picks up that helicopter and he flies it back to the roof. Um, oh yeah, the roof of the Daily Planet, I should say. Um, I was like just blown away because Kent, he's walking through the streets and he just rips open his shirt and there's the S, and you're like, oh, what? And then Superman just saves the friggin' day, and it's just glorious. Superman the movie. I still believe a man can fly, and I am thankful for Christopher Reeve and his portrayal. Still
I
my
saw that
Superman.
movie. I saw that movie. Not one of my tops.
That's
No
fair.
offense.
No, none taken,
I
dude.
just I was always more of a Batman guy than a Superman guy.
I can dig it.
Superman just seemed like Mr. Goody Two Shoes.
That's fair.
And just because he put on glasses, they couldn't tell who he was.
Look. It's a commentary. We're not as smart as we think we are. As a society,
Okay, this
we're
is
pretty.
true. This is true. I can accept that explanation. This is proven the time and time again recently. But
Yes, let's
let's
just go
move
with
on.
it. Yes.
Okay, my next honorable mention is a movie that didn't fare well at the box office,
Okay.
but it is a cult classic after it came out on VHS, I guess, at this point in time. This goes back to, I believe this was out, this may have been out the year that we graduated, I think.
Okay.
And all I can say is, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya.
Oh,
You killed my father. Prepare to die. Multiple scenes in that movie that I absolutely loved.
inconceivable.
There you go. The scene with him battling at the end, and he just keeps saying it, and the guy's like, "Stop saying that." That's a good scene.
Oh my
The
god.
entire scene with Miracle Max.
Have fun storming the castle.
You think they'll make it? Not a chance. That one, um, the head-to-head battle between Vicenzi, I think was his name,
Oh,
uh,
and the Dread Pirate Roberts.
and the Dread Pirate Roberts,
Oh,
with
brilliant.
the battle of wits and there's
With the
they
iocane
know the
powder.
rule not to get in a land war in East Asia. And the second, but not so commonly known rule is never get into a battle of wits with a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Oh, just you know
That
what, Dave? The Princess Bride is it's up there with near perfect films. Absolutely, Dave. What a great choice.
that is
What
also
a
one of those
great
movies
choice.
I just cannot turn off if I'm flipping by and oh,
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah, absolutely. As you wish. Just brilliant, brilliant stuff.
And
Good
what else
choice,
do you
Dave.
have, sir?
Well, let's go. Let's hit the Wayback Machine. Um, some might think this incredibly corny, And you might be able to make a case to say, yeah, that's true. But 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Let me explain why. There is a moment in there when James Mason, who plays Captain Nemo, accurately reflects Jules Verne's original version. Now, in the original version, in the book, Captain Nemo is an Indian Maharaja who has lost everything. We don't know exactly what happened, but he's lost everything, and it has something to do with British imperialism. But Nemo says this. Think of it. On the surface, there is hunger and fear. Men still practice unjust laws. They fight and tear one another to pieces. And a mere feet beneath the waves, their terror ceases. Their evil drowns. Here, on the ocean floor, is the only independence. Here, I am free. Hot damn, Nemo. Can I join your friggin' crew? Damn it. I'm like, oh, Nemo, you are my homeboy.
I must be honest. I've never seen that movie.
No worries, man. We're talking like
they lost me at 20,000. If it was only 19,000 leagues, I probably would have watched it. But once they hit 20,000, I said, "Come on, that's not realistic."
That's where I cut things off.
Yeah, exactly. And also, for a side note, which also might come into play with a later conversation we might have.
Oh dear.
Nemo is a wonderful song by Nightwish.
Oh.
Sorry, just had to add that.
Thank you. Yes, I adore that movie.
I absolutely love that speech you gave, though.
Oh, that was pure Nemo. That wasn't me.
Well, you presented it quite well. This is why you are in Clue, and I am not.
Oh, dude. You keep trying out. I'm serious. You need to keep trying out.
Tell Linda the check will be in the mail for the next one. Just
I will. Right now she's singing. She has headphones on, but I will definitely mention that.
Okay.
What do you got, Dave?
My next honorable mention is actually came out well because of this conversation that we had within the family. This is a movie that my daughter had never seen. Actually, neither of my daughters had seen. Okay. My youngest daughter just kind of watched it like, yeah, whatever. Kayla enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
This was a classic comedy that, okay, if you've seen it now, if you watch it now, maybe it doesn't quite survive the time.
Okay.
But from the time that we were in, it was a classic.
Right.
Airplane.
Damn it, Dave, that was on my list.
Well, yeah. We can both talk about it now.
That survived.
That was wonderful.
That is a friggin' classic, no doubt.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I like the multiple.
What do you make of this? I can make a brooch. I can make a pterodactyl. You can. All right, Dave. Your turn. Quote something.
Surely you can't be serious. Classic quote.
Serious, no call me Shirley.
Exactly.
You ever seen it?
Have you ever been to a Turkish prison, Billy?
I speak jive. It's Airplane. What a great film. Oh my God, it's funny you mention that. Yes, comedies do not get the respect that they're due. And Airplane is... when Robert Stack is walking through the airport to try to get to the control tower, and he just starts smacking it.
He just goes MMA on pop.
It's like when he starts flipping people over, or when he runs over the guy on the way to and the bike goes flipping over. He's like, "That's okay, I know him." That's just great, man. Oh my God.
I feel like I need to correct you on that one.
Oh yeah, please.
I thought that as well until I saw that movie. We literally just watched that movie
Yeah.
just before this.
No. What did
He's not talking about the guy on the bike when he says that, and I always thought he was.
Who's he talking about?
He was talking about the guy flying the plane.
Damn it, Dave! That's
That was
awesome. Now I got to go back.
That was part of the whole conversation, going right up to that. He hits the guy. I always thought he was talking about the guy on the bike.
I mean, because
That's okay, I know him.
He runs
But it was entirely part of the thing.
Flying.
Because they were talking about the guy that's flying the plane. All up until that, it's the passenger flying the plane. And at that point, they had already told him who it was. And that's when he was like, that's okay, I know him. And he goes into the backstory of how I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're talking about the guy on the bike.
Dave, I got to watch it again now. It's that simple. Oh, my God. The Abrams brothers.
It's funny you say that because it literally just stood out to me today. I'm like, all these years.
Yeah, man. I mean,
oh my God, that's not what he was talking about.
Funny. Oh, sweet Lord.
So many scenes in there.
Oh my God. And it's just so rapid fire. Boom, 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 boom. And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the
we have clear
co-pilot.
Roger. Oh my God. Yeah. Listen,
my father says you don't play defense.
That's just, yeah, it's perfect. It's a great film. The Autopilot.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The Autopilot, let's see if we caught everything that I wrote down here. The woman that was freaking out and needed to be calmed down. I got this. Calm down. I got this. And then they each have their weapons in the back.
Oh my God.
That was wonderful.
So much
fun.
What a great film.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it was. Rachel, not amused.
No.
Kayla seemed to like it.
Yeah, it's a divisive film. I'll give you that. It just hits me right.
It doesn't entirely survive the years unless you grew up in that time.
Yes, exactly.
Like because so many little things were referenced that they wouldn't understand now.
And disaster films. Disaster films were huge when we were kids. I mean, there was Airport.
What was it? Airport?
78, 79, 78. It was like, what? The Towering Inferno, all sorts of bullshit. And oh, man. But yeah, Airplane was awesome. Oh, my God. What a great choice, Dave. That was actually on my list.
Excellent.
What you got?
I have one more to do. I don't know how many you have left on your honorable mentions. So I will turn the floor over to you for a little bit.
No. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll give you one of mine, and then you can hit me with your last one, and then we'll go on to number one. Sound good?
Okay, you sure?
What the hell?
Okay, that's fine.
Let me find one. Let me see. I've got like page after page of written stuff. Lordy.
I will say the last one that I have is one that we've already discussed.
Oh, my.
Although I have some scenes in here we didn't discuss.
You know what? I'm gonna shift gears a little, actually. Or am I? Oh my God! There's so many great comedies. Oh my gosh.
Actually, I'm sorry. I have two more. I forgot that I had one other one to add in there as well.
Oh, good. Well, if that's the case, let's talk about Blazing Saddles.
Oh my God! How did I not include that? A movie that would not do well today.
You know what? Mel Brooks is quoted as saying, somebody in the media said to him, "You couldn't make that today." He says, "Oh, that's okay. We couldn't make it then." First of all, Mel Brooks is a national treasure. Secondly, the beautiful thing about Blazing Saddles is that it doesn't step around the concept of race. It charges full force right through it. and it shows you what a friggin' ridiculous idea we have as a society concerning it. Oh my God, Rockridge, Robert. it was, it's just so good. You know, I mean, Harvey Korman, Gene Hackman, Mel Brooks as the mayor. No, he wasn't the mayor. He wasn't the mayor of Rockridge, but as the governor. It's just crazy. It's wrong, but it underlines the idea how stupid the concept of what we consider important, race, really is. Great movie, great stuff. You couldn't make it today, and you couldn't make it then, but lo and behold, he did. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, wherever you are. I applaud you.
Yeah. And I feel bad for laughing at this, but the scene when the sheriff is near.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it's like, and ding. Oh my gosh. And
No,
you know,
he
I
said
mean,
the sheriff is near.
yeah, you know, I mean, but again, it flips the script when it comes to that. I mean, like when Gene Hackman is in the jail and he's talking with Bart, Sheriff Bart, well, Candygram from Monroe. Sorry, he's talking with Bart, and he's an amazing gunslinger, and he's been across the Wild West, shooting and killing people, and he says, and Sheriff Bart is upset because he's trying to protect the citizens of Rock Ridge, and he happens to be an African American man. And the citizens are fighting against him just because he's an African American. And he says, I don't know what I'm doing. And Gene Hackman says these words of wisdom. He says to him, you got to understand, these are people of the land. You know, morons. And they both start giggling because, damn it, people are morons.
It rings true today.
We have, oh my God, we have so much more in common than we do apart. And that's the message of Blazing Saddles. There you go. Next.
This is true. Speaking of morons, I have some Lysol to inject here.
You know, I'm looking at Tide Pods in a whole new light.
They were ahead of their time.
I might do a line of Clorox. Oh no, wait, Comet. I mean, Comet Cleanser.
My next honorable mention is one that we've done already.
Ooh.
And it's one that you've included, which actually would make sense because it wouldn't be on my honorable mention if I included it. So, speaking of people being morons,
yes,
it is Indiana Jones. I was thinking of a couple of different scenes, which we actually didn't entirely mention here. The one scene that I liked, which I thought added a little bit of levity to it,
right,
was the, don't bring swords to a gunfight.
Right.
With the guy coming at him, doing all of the sword play and everything, and Indy just goes, bang. It was just, it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, it was a nice little bit of levity in with it as well. So
yeah, I mean
that one, and the other one also similar, adding a little bit of levity to it, because you've kind of already mentioned the other big scenes here, was going down into the pit, and it had to be snakes.
The well of the souls. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love Raiders. I love Raiders. Just Soup to Nuts, one of my favorite all-time movies. Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh. He's got Harrison Ford tied up.
I do. This hangs on my wall. This is the album, actually. Great soundtrack, by the way. John Williams. Highly recommend it. But
Wait, show that again?
sure. Dun, 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 dun.
Tilt it a little bit when you show it.
Tilted?
Yeah. Tilt it back towards you a little.
Oh, there you go.
Excellent. There we go. It was getting a big monitor glare on it when you had it flat.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Please forgive me.
No worries. Excellent. I put you on the close up so you could show that. So
I don't know what
show
this
off your prize.
There we go. I'm not sure. It might be coffee or blood. Either way, it's worth it.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. You know, we maybe could have included a third party in this.
Yes.
Someone who may have some memorabilia and collectibles based on some of these films we've been talking about.
Now that you mention it, you got a point.
I feel I should have thought of that ahead of time. Maybe the next time we have some conversations like this,
You know what?
let's see if that person would be interested.
Or persons. Yes.
Persons, yes.
Yes.
Probably both persons.
That is a match set. And yes, I think that's an awesome idea. In fact, I could show you some. Oh, I've got tales to tell. But yes, you're right. That's a very good point, Dave. A very good point indeed.
The ball is in your court, sir.
It is. Now, are we still doing? We're not till the number one spot.
We're not the number one. We're still in the honorable mention stage of this conversation.
Awesome. I'm very happy to hear that because there's so many wonderful things. Oh my gosh.
I knew you were going to have a lot.
This is really.
I've got at least one more. There might be a second one that I can add, but I can't think of the name of the film at the moment. I am trying to recall as quickly as I can.
Oh my gosh. I'm just looking at my list here and thinking, you know what? Okay. Again, Dave, this might come as a surprise. But I happen to be a Star Trek fan. And there's lots of possible things. What's that?
Really?
True. To date, the finest Star Trek film of all time is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Absolutely adored it. I enjoyed, a lot of people didn't like Star Trek the Motion Picture, and justifiably so. Robert Wise, although a great director, had no idea what Star Trek was. And because of that, I don't blame you, Dave. I drink on this one, too. And because of that, it didn't really have that Star Trek vibe. But it reintroduced things, and it set the stage for Star Trek II, which mined from the original episode Space Seed. You had Ricardo Montalban and Kirk, Spock, and the crew of the Enterprise doing what they do the best. I adored it.
So let me guess. One of the scenes is Khan.
How did you know?
Something happened to Spock there, but I can't remember what it was.
Spoilers, he gets better.
At least you didn't mention. Was it 5 or 3?
5. 5
or both. 5. Is that the one where they go to Genesis or something?
No, that was 3. 5 was the one where they discover God.
Okay, well, they both kind of sucked.
Horrible.
At least in my opinion.
Star Trek 2, awesome.
4 was entertaining.
Hell yeah.
My next one,
Yes.
and this goes back to the idea of women in films.
Wait,
Okay,
what?
although might not be so noble as I'm saying here. It definitely won't be noble as I'm saying here.
Okay.
Um, let me just mention the name, and I know you will get the film as soon as I mention the name. Phoebe Cates.
We were doing curbside.
Really? Wait.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm,
I'm back
I
now.
am surprised you didn't get that right away.
Oh, so am I. I was thinking of something else altogether. I saw a bright shiny thing and I was mistaken. And yes, pools will never be the same. Oh, wow, Dave. Wow.
That is just a classic scene that I thought of after I got my list together already, right before we were starting. I'm like, how did I not include that?
Dave, that's a life
Maybe to
altering.
be politically correct.
Let's make the situation well in hand and just say that that was an amazing
I see what you did there. that was
Wherever you are, God bless you. Yep. So, wow, Dave.
What do you have? Do you have another?
Uh,
Or have I distracted you with that one now?
I'm pretty distracted. In fact, I might need some me time on that one. But I digress. Do I have others? Oh God, do I have others? Dave, this is just not a fair thing. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, modern cinema, even classic cinema. Oh my God! I mean, we haven't even talked about the Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, North by Northwest, um, Moby Dick. Holy, these are just amazing.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I kept it with things that I was more familiar with. There are a lot of things that I know that that should be mentioned
Right.
that I just didn't put on the list. How would you like to go to? We can finish this off and then maybe do a little small after party with anything else continuing because some other things are coming to mind right now that I don't want to bring up if
That's
it
cool.
might be on your list. So how about we go to and give me a moment to bring up the graphic here, and we're going to lose sound for a moment.
Fair enough.
I have learned my lesson for next time as a way to how to include sound when I'm putting these graphics up as well.
Well,
So
fair enough.
number 1.
Yes.
And now we are up to you, sir.
All right. My number 1 petrified me. Absolutely petrified me.
I'm starting to think we have the same number 1 for a moment.
I don't know. We just may. The year was 1975, and my mother and my grandmother had taken me to a drive-in. And it was one of those drive-ins where one side had a screen and then the other side had a screen. We went, theoretically or allegedly, to see Peter Pan. But oh no. I climbed up on the roof of the vehicle and I turned my ass around to watch Jaws. It was
Oh, that was
75.
another one I was thinking. And as soon as you said the year, I knew it wasn't the same one.
1975 scared the hell out of me because of Jaws, and I wasn't alone. A generation of film viewers suddenly were petrified of going into the deep end of their swimming pools. I didn't have a swimming pool. I had a bathtub, and I was scared of getting into that. Um, Such great moments in that film. The opening with the swimming woman who becomes the first victim of the shark. Oh my gosh. she's screaming as she's being eaten alive. By the way, spoilers. It's been since '75.
If they haven't seen it by now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what are you gonna do? So she's screaming. She's being ripped through the water here, there, and yon, begging God for help, and disappearing beneath the waves. And it's like, oh, what the hell? um, just like her from that opening scene, you're being eaten alive, and it's amazing. Um, the characters are so rich. You got Brody, played by Roy Scheider. You've got Hooper, played by what's his name? Oh my gosh, played by Richard Dreyfuss. Sorry. You've got Robert Shaw as Quint, the shark hunter. And on and as the memes of the day have shown, you have Murray Hamilton, if you will, as Mayor Vaughn, who puts safety of everyone living and visiting Amity Island um, ahead of. He basically puts the economy ahead of lives, and I don't know how that could possibly be relevant today. But
no one would ever do
no,
that.
no, thank
We're
God.
looking at you, Vegas.
It's, oh my God, right? I mean, there's not that much difference between the mayor of Vegas and the mayor of Amity Island. Okay, let's talk scenes.
Maybe she needs to go for a swim.
When the head rolls out of that hole in the boat, oh shit. When Brody realizes that they need a bigger boat, oh shit.
Oh, that was I was going to mention that one if you didn't, but I knew you were going to.
When the three main characters are drinking and they're showing what hurts, and here, this woman broke my heart, but when Quint starts talking about the Indianapolis, everything changes. And Robert Shaw is so damn good in that role. Oh my God. Jaws, pound for pound, a perfect film. Great stuff. Dave, the floor is yours.
Okay, for my number one, I'm also going horror.
Ooh, really?
I'm going
intrigued.
Stephen King.
Oh my.
I'm going Jack Nicklaus. I'm going with one scene in particular. Here's Johnny. That was such a good, weird movie. Just to see him slowly decay into insanity.
Dave, that's on my honorable mention list. For some reason, I didn't say it, but Dave, what an amazing choice. Just an amazing film. King doesn't like it, actually, but what an amazing piece of cinema. I adore that movie. Talk about isolation and what it forces you to think. Oofa, just crazy. Of course, I just
how much has that influenced even current entertainment since then? How many times have you seen references to the Here's Johnny?
Oh.
Obviously, it was reference to the Johnny Carson, but how many times have you seen that referenced to that movie now? How many times have you seen the spooky twins in the hall being referenced somewhere?
Oh yeah.
It is that movie had such impact on future films that followed.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
right.
And I was young when I watched that. So it creeped me out big time.
Dude.
And especially seeing them going into the maze at the end and them retracing the footsteps to try to get away, and it was just
Nicholson. Nicholson and Shelley Duvall together just blew my mind. One day, give me the bat. It's like, oh my God. No.
It was such a good movie because it wasn't just jump scares, it wasn't just gore. It was a psychological thriller that was just so creepy from end to end that it
Soarin.
just got into yeah, Red Rock.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, loved it, Dave. That's a
So
damn fine choice for your number one.
thank you, sir. So let's get back to are there any that you thought we've missed or any that were on your list that you'd like to mention?
There's so much amazing cinema
Uh,
to be discovered that we have. Yeah, okay. You know what?
Oh, there's definitely many, many.
Oh, dude. Actually, I saw a movie recently that really piqued my interest. And it's, again, it has that insular kind of uh, dark and foreboding feel. But if you get the chance, Dave, I would highly recommend checking out The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert
Okay.
Patterson, of all people.
Yeah, you know what other movie that I thought about? I
What?
definitely didn't include it because it wasn't really a great movie per se,
What do you got?
but it was one of those movies that people hated or loved
Gotcha.
because of the perspective of it.
Right.
And it was only one of those things that could kind of get to you because this was back when we were younger and back when we were doing some weird crap like this. And I'm like, I could see us doing exactly something like this. It was Blair Witch Project
Oh, brilliant. What a great.
because it was a weird movie. It was the way it was filmed was really screwing with some people's heads
Yeah.
in not just in a good way, but in a bad way at times
Oh,
because
yeah.
people just couldn't take the way it was filmed, and you're getting a lot of motion sickness and stuff like that involved with trying to watch the show.
It was
People getting headaches from it and
yeah,
whatnot. But
brilliant.
the only thing I could ever think watching that is, oh my god, we could be out there doing that.
Why didn't we think of that?
Not even that, but more that like that was probably back in the time when we were marching through the woods looking for stones
Which we
and
found, by the way.
pulling dozens and dozens of ticks off ourselves at the end of
Literally,
this.
literally doesn't. Yes. Oh my gosh, Dave, that's it. It's an excellent choice. An excellent choice. Um, that found footage feel. It's just
Yeah,
yeah. It
it, it,
has a unique piece of cinema feel to it.
it was more of the idea of putting myself in that place
Right.
than it was actually just watching the movie.
Right. Yeah.
If I actually put myself in the place, then it freaked me out a little bit more. Watching the movie, I could see if I completely distanced myself from it, made myself third person, like I'm just watching it take place, then it's
Yeah.
kind of annoying. But really get into it that way, then it's, yeah, I could see us doing that.
Oh yeah.
Um, there were some Clint Eastwood movies that also I didn't bring up because I already put him in there. But one of his, multiple of his westerns.
Oh God. Pale Rider. I think
Yeah,
for
I
$2 more.
absolutely
Just
love that movie.
just amazing. I mean, it's hard to top that. What was
Not just
the
because of the daughter.
last, what was the last western he made there? It was not Pale Rider, but The Unforgiven.
Was Unforgiven. Yeah.
Unforgiven is an amazing piece of cinema. That didn't make either of our lists, but damn, what an amazing film.
What
Um,
was the one with the I think it was early in the movie. Was it like the three-way shootout? Was
oh,
that good, bad, and the ugly?
yeah, that was actually at the end of the film. I love that.
The end of the okay.
What a great
Sorry,
film. The
my
good,
age and
bad,
memory are showing.
it's just great stuff.
For,
The man
was that the one that started with the hanging?
Oh no, I think that was Hang 'em High.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, they think he's dead, but no.
Okay.
Yeah, just I mean, just really great stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of honorable
Clint
mention,
Eastwood had plenty of good films. I mean,
oh, he did. He still
you
does.
watch
I don't agree with the dude's politics, but dude, he's a
the one with the
phenomenal
car?
filmmaker. What?
What was the one? Gran Torino.
Oh God, yeah.
That was such a good movie.
I thought it was great when he actually played the country singer. I forget the name of the movie. His son was in it with him. It goes way back to the 80s, early 90s.
I don't remember that one.
Let's just say that Eastwood's an American treasure. He really is. I mean, I like I said, politics, schmolitics. He's a great filmmaker. And I think stories
Yeah,
outlast politics. I think
the,
our stories outlast us. So therefore,
the, the
um,
closest I would say that politics would affect me is if it's really, really negative. If you're talking like, oh, I can't remember the guy's name now. Um, wow, I'm sorry. I just
no,
gave
it's
us
cool.
bad blank air time there. Dead air time. I
No, it's
can't
cool.
remember. Mel Gibson.
Oh, God.
That's the kind of thing that politics can be a negative that I'm like, okay, I don't want to see anything of the guy now, just
Um,
because it was such a negative views that he had. That was
it's a shame.
I
It's funny. Speaking of like alternative, as you know, I kind of like the Road Warrior. And I adored um, Mad Max Fury Road, which was in all effect Mad Max 4. Um, but Mel was replaced, and he was replaced by Tom Hardy, who is an amazing actor. But that's my only complaint about that film. Not the idea that Max's role is not really, really and truly, it's a Furiosa-driven story. But and I highly recommend it because it's in that world, Dave, that I used to watch all the time.
really
Yeah, but
don't think I
um,
ever saw that movie.
but I mean, even though I see and I love Fury Road, I think it's great. It's a great piece of cinema, and you should see it if you haven't. But it wasn't Mel Gibson. Yes, he's batshit crazy, but but Max wasn't Mel, and I know that sounds nuts, and yes, Mel's got some issues, but I'm not making any excuses. Believe me.
See,
But
he's somebody that I totally dropped after hearing all of the additional stuff, all of the anti-Semitic and everything else. That
there's a
just got to
lot
be
of
okay.
additional stuff. You're
No,
yeah, I can't. I hear you.
done with them. And I absolutely loved Braveheart, which I can't imagine why. I don't know why I didn't put that on this list.
Yeah, dude.
There
That
were
you
many
mentioned it. I know what you
there that
mean. Yeah.
I absolutely loved. That's a movie that I used to be able to watch constantly. Now I never see it on. There's a lot of people that just aren't playing it anymore,
Right. Right.
probably.
Yeah.
But I would probably watch it again, knowing that okay, this guy's a creep, but it's already something that's already been made, so I'm not going to go out and watch
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
new, probably
It's
necessarily good.
tough because there are many times where you have to separate the art from the artist, and do we do that or do we not?
But
I don't know. It's a tough
yeah,
question.
see, in my mind, and this has changed as I've gotten older,
Right.
and I'll say wiser, but
I'll give you
I'm not
that,
going to make
Dave.
that judgment at all. I fail to
I'll give
make
you
that
that.
judgment on myself. But with things like watching different bands play,
Right.
because the bunch of the bands we watched when we were growing up, there were some real dirtbags in those groups
Oh yeah.
that
Hell yeah.
we didn't care. We just watched them. Now there's been a few that I'm like, that guy's just such a dirtbag that I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Dude.
I I used to listen to Nickelback a little bit. I cannot take them anymore.
Really?
Once I've heard more and more about this guy.
Get out now. That's you've really captured my attention because I don't like Nickelback. It's popular not to like Nickelback, but from what I understand, Chad Kroger is a really great guy. At least from what I've heard.
Oh, he's a creep.
Get out. Talk to me. Why?
He
Why is
he, he is a
give us
complete lecherous guy
he's a what?
that he's complete lech that also is all a major prima donna, all about himself,
Really?
not about. This is a guy who refused to go on stage for it was a charity concert that they were doing up in Canada. That when they signed on, it was going to be live streamed throughout the world,
Right.
and he refused to go on stage until they stopped live streaming because he wasn't getting paid to entertain the entire world. Even though that was part of the contract that they signed in to go and do. And he utterly refused to walk out there until they cut the live stream.
You see, now
Which,
that's completely different from what I've been led to believe. Not that I know. I mean, I'm nobody, but the simple fact of the matter is, I always thought that Chad Kroeger had kind of a decent quality about him. That's you see, you hear shit like that, and it's like, oh man,
yeah,
really?
as soon as I heard that, then I started hearing the other stuff, and I'm like, nah, he's just such a creep.
What do you do? Damn. Well, you see, now I got more reason to hate Nickelback.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
apart from that,
this is
damn
why
snow.
when we saw was it Sonata Arctica?
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
lead singer looked a little bit like him.
he looked like Chad. Yeah, he did. I'm like,
I remember thinking, wait, no, it's not him.
ah,
Don't think he's a creep. Yeah, and also the other group that we saw. I'm sorry that we're getting out of the movies here now for a moment, but the group that opened for Within Temptation and In Flames.
oh,
The that group reminded me of Nickelback, so that's why they kind of got on my nerves. They were a little creepy. That's the one that had like the stalker song.
oh God. Okay.
If I was your superhero or something, or let me be your
Yeah.
superhero, I'll show you I'm more than just a stalker. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
at least you're up front with it.
You can't fault them for that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. We'll get back to the movies here.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think just throw out one more movie that should
Okay.
be honorable mention. It should be, I say, because it didn't really make my list, but it just popped into my head. The Big Lebowski. You ever watch that, Dave? You ever see The Big Lebowski?
I've heard a bunch about it, but I've never actually watched it. That's the one with the bowling guy.
Yes, it is. Actually,
Okay.
think Maltese Falcon, but instead of Humphrey Bogart, the detective is a stoner. It's
Okay.
it is brilliant. It's from the Coen brothers, and I couldn't recommend it higher. I didn't watch it when it first came out. I discovered it on DVD and not VHS, but DVD. Maybe Blu-ray even, but whatever the case, it's phenomenal.
So,
I think you'd dig it. Actually, we should actually have a couple of White Russians and check it out.
I'm going to have to check out a bunch of these movies here. That is the good thing about this topic. We might need to break this up and do some other lists coming up in the future where we maybe break it up by genre
Oh my
and
god!
maybe just go, favorite movies or something along that line, or come up with some sort of actual topics to kind of gimmick it up a little bit. Not really gimmick it up a little bit, but give a, top top sports movies or top movies about historical movies or
Oh yeah! Oh,
science fiction. Um, science fiction with female lead protagonists, or
yeah.
all sorts of ways that we can probably split things up here. Now,
Absolutely.
I will propose this to you.
Yes.
How does the next conversation, but similar, top moments, but this will be personal moments to what we believe, not with a band that we like or with groups that we like, but on concerts that we've been to. So this will open us up for many, many years.
Yes, it will.
And I hate to bring this up because it's something that if you see my blogs, I'm always mentioning things in there about I'm looking for those moments. There's a moment in a concert that just makes you say, "Wow, that was cool." Things like and I'm not going to tip my hand here, but maybe it'll be on my list at some point, maybe not. Like the Sonata Arctica when they did Full Moon, and he sits down, lets the crowd start singing first,
Yeah.
and then he kicks in. That kind of little thing. Little
Yeah.
things that's like, okay, that's good. You don't get that just from putting on the track and listening to it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Things like the human firework.
Yes.
That kind of
The
stuff.
Struts.
Yes.
What a great band.
I don't know if you've been following my list of the 30 songs yet or not, but
No,
they were on.
I've been watching from afar. I was like, oh, that's great. I got to do that. But I saved the grid, but I haven't started yet because I'm
A friend of mine from Facebook did that.
right.
This ties into an earlier conversation that we had. This is actually a friend of mine that from that sports website that I've been on for 20 some years.
Of course, yeah.
This is actually the one guy that from that site that I've actually physically met in person.
Very cool.
One of my trips a couple years ago to Vegas.
Right. Yeah.
And
you're a well-traveled fellow.
Posted that I was in Vegas, and he was like, "Hey," because he lives in Vegas.
Right.
He was like, "Hey, you want to get together tonight?" So, okay, we met at a pizza place, had a slice of pizza, walked around a little bit, talked a little bit, got to know a little bit more about each other, and I thought, that's what I love about the technology in this world right now, because this is someone who I never would have met or known anything at all about prior to this. There's I'll give another example. There's a woman that I know who now lives in Texas. She used to live in Southern California.
Okay.
She has 2 children, which ironically it kind of mirrors my family in a way.
Oh, wow.
She has a daughter that is in her first year of college right now. So her and Kay graduated at the same time, basically. Cool. She has a son who also just turned 16, who Rachel just turned 16. Wow. Her son, though, has autism.
Okay.
So I've known a lot about the family. She's posted a lot about the son. And
very cool.
It's not an extreme case of autism. So he's very smart, very great with numbers and everything.
Gotcha.
And so like with her, I posted this link to the guy that opened for Jeff Tate.
Yeah.
When we saw the last song that he did was a song that he dedicated to his son, and he wrote it for Autism Month.
That's cool.
Some guy guy named Mark Daly from Ireland, and his son has autism.
Right.
And he wrote the song, and he just released it for Autism Week, Autism Awareness Week, a couple weeks ago. And I've actually been watching him. He does a couple times a week. He does like these little online things on Facebook where he just pulls out his acoustic guitar, does some songs, talks with the people. So I've messaged him back and forth a bit. He's actually somebody included the review of with the concert, so I sent that to him.
Right.
Seems like a really nice guy. Well, once I heard that song, I was like, I got to send that over to her. So she heard that. She totally loved the song. It's just amazing the things.
Yeah.
We're experiencing all of this music that we had never heard of before.
The world's a lot smaller.
3 years ago, would you have expected that you would have said that you liked Swedish death metal?
No, I would not. But I can honestly say I do now.
Ironically, I was listening to that earlier today while I was getting ready.
Oh yeah! In fact, I love that one song you put up from In Flames. It's from Battlefront or Battle the Battle. I forget that album, but anyway, it was a great song. And
Take This Life.
Yeah, I think that was it. It was great, brilliant. Okay. And I was like, yeah, yeah. I have a penchant for Swedish death metal.
That's what makes today's technology wonderful. We couldn't have done this 30 years ago.
No. In fact, it's
The,
funny you mention that. Lynn and I were talking earlier, and the idea that the way the world runs at this particular moment, and quite frankly, after all this is done, the quarantine and, if you will, everything, um, you couldn't work from home before. You couldn't Zoom. You couldn't uh, have classes that are taped and just put up for kids to see and do. The world has changed,
the
and this is part of the new normal. And
the problem is, depending upon the industry and depending upon the people involved, is that you have this group of people who see that as, oh, this person's working at home. They're not really working.
I can tell you that's not the case. Um,
I run into that where I work with some of this old guard that are there. These are people who, like, there's this select group of people that we always hear from
right,
that have been involved with go lives at customer sites where they're installing the software and stuff.
right,
These are people who will brag about, oh, I remember this go live and we were up for 48 hours straight. We had to work because of this and that. And I thought, is that something to brag about? Like, is it really something to brag about that, oh yeah, we did this go live and it went so poorly we couldn't sleep for 2 days?
yeah,
I would be more intent to brag about, oh, we did this go live. Everything was great. Nobody had to work more than 8 hours a day.
yeah. Imagine that.
That's what I would brag about. I wouldn't be bragging about the fact that it was such a nightmare that we almost killed people on our team. There were people on the teams who ended up in the hospital because of the crap they were going through.
That's ridiculous.
And that would be part of the story. Oh well, this guy ended up at the hospital because, well,
No, that's bullshit.
why are you happy about that? To
That's
me,
masochism.
that means you didn't do your job as a leader.
Just saying.
and
Um,
And these are the people who will complain about, oh, well, that person worked from home twice last week.
yeah, you know what?
I'll be honest with you, I can do a lot more from home. There are times I'll put in more hours from home because, well, I'll give this last month as an example. Prior to the furlough,
right.
I would wake up before 7 o'clock every day.
Okay.
By 7:15 every day, I was online, and I would get off at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So maybe take a little bit of time. I wouldn't even go like have a full hour for lunch usually. Maybe go walk the dogs, take the dogs outside, come back in. Lunch, I'd make something and bring it and sit there and eat while I'm online. So they're getting 9, 10 hours out of me every day.
Yeah.
That if I went into the office, okay, they're getting 8, 8.5.
And dude, you're
And
probably more productive exactly where you are. Now you don't have to talk to the person next to you who's interrupting you saying, "Hey, how about that Phillies game?" I
yeah,
mean, you're doing
well,
more. I'll tell you what. It's funny. It's funny that this devolved into this, but um, I know that 2 out of 3 of the people who are working in this home, in our household, 2 of them are deemed essential. My wife and my daughter, and they are working more now than they could at their offices or cubicles because there's no distraction. There's no distractions, and they are hard at work. Myself, I'm non-essential. I review a file here, a file there, no big deal. Um, but them, they are essential in what they do, and
yeah,
they are hard at work.
yeah. I get that. I would get that a lot before, like I said, before the furlough, in that it would be 10 hours of my day taken up by work.
Right.
And I feel like I would be able to get stuff accomplished from the time I started till later. Only it changed a little bit because of the fact that a lot of the casinos were closed. So I wasn't
Yeah,
getting
do it.
the Skype messages from support as often, asking about this, asking about that.
Right.
The difference is when I'm there at work and I'll get those messages, I get a little bit more exercise because I won't answer it that way. I'll get up and I'll go over there and talk to him
Sure.
for multiple reasons. One, I need to get up from the desk for a minute.
Yeah.
And two, it's a lot easier to try to communicate if I'm standing there in front of them and showing them, as opposed to me just send a message and hope that I typed it the way I meant it, hope that it was interpreted the right way,
Exactly.
and it usually leads to then another question, and then another question, and then another question. Whereas if I go over there and say, okay, look at this, this, and that, and then, oh, what do I do with this? Oh, that we don't have to worry about. We just do this.
Yeah.
And it's done. Okay, takes a few extra moments for me to walk over, walk back.
But it's customer
But
service. It's
yeah,
you doing hands-on your job, and I can dig that.
yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think these are all things that are going to have to be looked at in the New World Order, whatever comes after this. Because the simple fact of the matter is, we're let's not beat around the bush. We're looking at some massive social and economic changes coming up in the next year,
yeah.
and you know what? Change is not necessarily a bad thing. I
The
don't.
only problem is
Yeah.
you've got an entire political party. I don't mean to get this political either.
Right.
Convincing everyone that it is.
Well,
I'll stop there.
what we've known has changed, and
Yeah.
we'll see. Hey, I I welcome the new normal. I hope that we have the wisdom and the kindness to embrace it. Um, so there we are. Anyway,
Yeah.
movies.
All right. So, how does the next discussion sound for you if we go with the idea of concert moments?
Make it so, Captain. Sounds good to me. 10?
Concert moments. Yeah, actually, let's discuss that right now. We'll come up with the plan. We'll go with our favorite concert moments,
Gotcha.
top 10,
Yes.
and we will include a couple of honorable mentions. Let's say 3 honorable mentions each. So we'll go with a baker's dozen total.
Baker's dozen. I like that. Okay.
And side conversation to that will be top couple, say top 5 greatest concerts that we've seen.
Dave, you're going to be forced to use my noodle.
For the top 5 concerts?
Yes.
Not talking individual band.
Wait.
But soup to nuts concert.
Oh.
So while band X may have been the best individual band we've seen, or you've seen, or I've seen.
Yes.
Maybe band Y and Z, who opened up for them, sucked. But then we saw band A, who was good, but band B and C, who opened up for them, who were also really good. So maybe we think that concert might be a little bit better than the other. So we'll go with top 10 moments, where it'll just be an individual moment, something that, like I said, the fireworks, something like that. Where you're like, oh, that stood out to me. That was cool. That was something that me putting on the album on Spotify or Google Play, never going to encounter. It could even be, and don't tell your wife that we said this.
Okay.
It could be that the song was played a little bit different than how it is on the radio.
Oh, I don't know. Huh. Oh.
Hi, Linda.
Hi,
Dave. What do you know? The redhead is here.
We're doomed.
Well, Dave, I'm excited about this prospect. We looking at Friday at 9 again, or Saturday at 9, or what do you like?
What works for you, sir? I'm on a furlough, so
So am I.
any day at
What a
nine works for
coincidence!
me.
It's a small world. Yes. All right. Well, what do you say we do this on Friday?
Okay,
Cool,
that works.
brother man.
That gives us time.
Yes, it does, because there's much to consider. Because for your 50th birthday, um, dude, it was like March to the Sea, baby. It was beautiful. And
That was wonderful. I was hoping this year would be similar to
this
that,
year
but
I
it
thought was going to be
kind
the
of
same.
pushed
I
off
was
a
like,
little.
well, let's just keep this rolling, baby. But circumstances happen, obviously, and but when on the other side of this, and there will be another side to this. Um, Maybe that's another thing we could discuss. Who do you want to see after the pandemic?
Oh,
Um,
that's also another good discussion.
Because let me tell you, man, there's going to be parties aplenty. But, but again, that has to be after the pandemic. I am a big fan of squashing the curve, of flattening it. Um,
Yes,
uh,
that is why it was bugging me. I'll go back into the political realm again here. That is why it was bugging me when I was hearing people talking about, well, the number of cases haven't grown like it was. So we're starting to flatten the curve. Let's open everything again. And people were like, well, no, that was like saying, I feel this is what was bugging me is the meme that was going around about it. The
right.
meme was saying, well, that's like saying I've I'm feeling better now, so I will stop taking the antibiotics.
Yeah.
And my point that I always made is no, that's not like saying that.
No.
That is like saying I don't feel any worse today than I did yesterday, so I'll stop taking the antibiotics. It's not saying we've gotten better. The cases didn't go away. It just meant, okay, we didn't have more new cases today than yesterday. So we're still having new cases.
Yeah.
It's
Lots.
not like, okay,
Yeah.
we're getting better. Another example, someone else that I know on Facebook posted this thing about a state posted something about, oh, 3 days in a row they've gotten fewer new cases announced than the previous day.
Right.
But they never posted what those numbers were. I said that is a meaningless statement then.
Yeah.
So does that mean they had 1,000 new cases one day, 999 new cases the next day, 998 new cases the day after that?
Dave, you're right.
That
For the last,
that doesn't mean anything. If you tell me, oh, they had 1,000 new, and then they only had 700 new, and then 500 new, and then 300 new, okay, that's a
yeah,
meaningful statistic.
exactly. And if the data is sound, for the last
Yeah,
30 years of my professional life, one of the most important things that I've done is collect data in one way or another, and taking that data and using it into useful rather means of interpretation. Without data, you know nothing. Nothing. We
yeah.
need data. We need
Without
testing.
correctly analyzed data.
We need testing, and we need correctly analyzed data. Yes.
Because the other thing I know from statistics classes and dealing with numbers,
Yeah.
if you can take numbers and try to make them tell you anything that you
Oh
want,
yeah.
similar to
Best how to
this,
lie is with statistics,
yeah,
but with raw data, you can't
yeah.
argue with the numbers. It's
Well,
simple
yeah,
math.
well,
And I'm
like
not
the example that I
mathematician.
gave, in no point in those any of those articles did they ever mention what the numbers were.
Yeah. Well
That
then,
tells me that okay, it went down one, it went down one, it went down,
yeah.
it went down such a small amount that they didn't even want to publish it because now it makes it look not as good as they were trying to make it look. Because you know darn well if it actually went from 1,000 new cases to only 500 new cases,
Yeah.
that's what they're leading with.
Oh yeah. And
Drops by 50%.
what's disgusting is that people are playing with people's lives.
Yeah.
That and that's exactly what's going on. That's
And they're not getting that it's just
amazing.
the virus It's
Oh,
going to cause them the issues.
damn it! That reminds me of another movie. Sorry.
Uh-oh. And
All
what movie is
right.
that?
Okay, I'm going to just leave on John Carpenter's The Thing. Awesome. One of my favorites. Talk about like viruses and things like that. Highly recommend it. Love it. The razor blade with the thumb scene. What? Oh my God. 1982. It had the problem that it was released with at the same weekend as this other movie. What was it called? Something E.T. or something like that. Anyway, it
Yeah, I've
got
heard of
buried at the box office, but what a great movie. One of my all-time favorite horror movies. It was about a viral kind of pandemic, if you will.
E.T. The original, very good. The remake, are you kidding me?
What? Wait,
Or no, I'm sorry, not the remake, but the
special
digitally
edition?
remade version.
Yeah. Spielberg was listening to George a little too much. George Lucas, that is. Um,
That just got a little crazy. Like, come on. We're
well.
going to digitally remove all the guns.
Wait a second. What?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
They did a digital re-release
Yeah, well, that I
of,
do.
and they digitally edited out the guns that the soldiers were carrying and replaced them with flashlights.
Well, for what it's worth, I do remember a lot of flashlights in E.T., but they
Yeah,
were
there
like,
were.
oh, well,
Yeah, I just thought was like, come on.
yeah, you're right. Films are time capsules. Let them be. Let them
Yeah.
be. Um, hey, it's a snapshot of who we are as a society at a particular moment in time. Take that picture and let it be. Tell more stories. Our stories, as I said earlier, they'll outlast us. So tell good ones.
Okay, so just to run this by you again,
Okay,
next week, same time, same bat time, same bat channel,
two thumbs.
and it will be top 10 moments within a concert, within any concert that either of us have been to,
Awesome. I'm digging this,
and
Dave.
3 honorable mentions each. We'll
Okay.
do it similar to here, where we, here's my 10, here's your 10, here's my 9, here's your 9, or back here's my 10, here's your 10, here's your 9, here's my 9,
I'm
like
digging it.
that. And then after that, we'll just discuss top 5 concerts, soup to nuts,
Awesome.
all bands involved. Although, should we limit this? Just discuss this now,
Right.
because in my mind, MMRBQ just shoots way to the top.
You know,
Is it fair to include an 8-band mini festival with just a 2 or 3-band concert that we've seen?
you know what? Fact of the matter is, each one of those bands has to bring what they can bring at that particular moment in time. So I'm inclined to think that we can judge those individual bands. But what do you think?
You know what? Actually, since it's not like we've been to a billion different festivals, let's just go with it.
All right, cool.
So, soup to nuts, any particular concert that we've been to, from opening act to headliner.
No holds
Uh,
barred, live without a net. I'm digging it, Dave. You talked me into it. Hard sell.
Excellent. And if you want to discuss maybe the one for after that, how does TV moments strike you?
What the hell? I think we could do it. I think we have stuff we can pull out of
I,
our.
I think there'd be, we probably have more than 10 moments for that.
I don't know. Yeah,
Uh,
maybe. You know what?
we'll do the same idea. We'll do top
Baker's
10,
dozen. Well, Baker's dozen it.
and then we'll do the 3 honorable mentions, and then we'll go from there. And I'll discuss anything with Kay and see if we want to add Kay's picks into any of them as well.
I
And
love the
also
idea of Kay popping in.
feel free to include any of your wonderful family as well.
I will extend it to the brood, but a lot of them are camera shy. So, but we shall
That's
see.
right.
We shall see what we shall see.
Okay.
So there we are. Sounds good. I will most
Excellent.
definitely. These are excellent topics, Dave, and I'm happy to have Kay show up. She's awesome.
Excellent. And let me know if I even need to show up, or if I'll just put her in my place next week.
We don't want to mess with the formula that much.
And let me know if you get a chance to look at this week's video, if you like any of the added changes, or if we need to do anything
Yeah.
from there.
I'm
I know it's odd that we're. I tell you what. Actually, let me end the stream now. I just realized we're still going. So let me end the stream.
Yeah, maybe we should work on that. But
well, we've been going for a while now since we actually finished.
Linda just told me it's almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's. I just looked up at the time here. It has 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, for any of you who have continued to watch, we love you.
Yeah, it just became a conversation between the two of us.
Yeah, you know what?
I am going to end it now. So let me say thank you to everyone who has been watching. If you made it this far,
Indeed, thank
God
you.
bless you. And we will see you guys next week. Or anybody who might not have watched this live, whoever's watching it in tape, also thank you.
Indeed.
Or I guess recording. I don't know what you call it now,
Yeah,
since
good
it's no
for you.
longer a videotape. Okay, so I am ending the stream right